Staring out of the train window into the darkness, I begin to review the past several years of my life. My wife and I enjoy a comfortable lifestyle. Our children are nearly grown. The community we reside in respects us both. Civic organizations and church groups take up the time that I don't fill with my work and the activities of my children. So, what am I doing sitting on this train as it races toward my home and the life I thought I cherished with the thoughts I have within me right now? I should get up and politely cross in front of this lovely and very sexy creature next to me and simply remove myself from the situation. Without even really realizing it or understanding why, I know I can't do that. She has a very powerful hold over me. Several people pass the two of us in the aisle as I sit, too captivated to move, too excited to be still, and too overwhelmed to behave rationally. As I watch the men who pass by, I realize that each and every one of them notices the woman sitting next to me. I wonder if they realize that this woman is holding me captive without having said a single word to me and with only seconds of actual bodily contact. To me, it seems that they must surely be aware of it. She turns several pages of the magazine that was recovered from its earlier fall and her brief tactile encounter with my trousers. She seems to be having no difficulty concentrating at all, and she doesn't seem to be giving me as much thought as I think she would, given what occurred earlier. Never in my life has a woman been so openly clear about what she desires from me, and so patient about letting me give it on my own time. I begin to wonder about all aspects of this petite woman's world. Where is she from? Is she married? Does she frequently touch the hard cocks of strangers? And what is that impossibly unforgettable scent she's wearing? Whether or not I get answers to any of my questions about this woman has, in the less than half an hour that I've been sitting next to her, become completely inconsequential. What really matters is that I continue to distract myself with any thoughts to keep me from staring at her, and most of all from reaching out and touching her. For a while, I can only control my urges and the hard, burning desires for her by thinking her to be the most vile, evil creature that ever walked the face of the earth. That not only doesn't dissuade my cock from its aroused state, but it almost serves to make the possibilities more arousing. Will I come all over myself right there, with only the presence of her, and the thoughts in my head to stroke my cock? Before I can figure out what will happen next, the decisions have been made for me. I have folded the newspaper in my lap finally, realizing that I haven't turned the page the entire time I'm sitting here. It rests on my right knee, with my hands folded atop it in that familiar trifold that is so neat and convenient for reading on trains and subways. She reaches over and ever so lightly places her hand on top of mine. I look over and see that she has put her magazine down and gathered her gloves and purse into her other hand. I can't let her simply leave. What is she trying to tell me with her touch? Clearly, words from either of us at this point are useless. Both of us know what we want. Her brown eyes rise to meet mine. She is breathing heavily despite the fact that she appears perfectly poised and calm. Her left hand finally moves off of my folded hands and toward the inner portion of my right thigh. I take a deep breath, one that easily resembles a slight gasp. Never in my life have I been so aroused. For a second I smile widely, thinking that my cock is about to explode through the metal of the zipper in my trousers. She continues to caress my thigh very lightly with her red-tipped index finger. The look in her eyes and the expression on her face give me a look nearly into her soul. I'm still a bit confused about what exactly she expects the two of us to do here and now. I am not given long to linger on these or any other thoughts. She takes my right hand into hers and gently glides it toward her lap. She has, I notice, made the magazine, her purse, and gloves seem to disappear to the other side of her. She is fumbling a bit as she guides my hand onto her skirt. The silk feels like nothing I have ever felt on a woman's body before. It feels free and unencumbered by the trappings of slips, crinolines, or even linings beneath. Suddenly, I realize what she's doing. There is a pocket in her skirt. It is hidden in the folds of the pleats, where a seam is hardly noticeable. She wants me to put my hand in her skirt pocket. As my hand slides cooperatively into the pocket, I am first met with the metal of a small, cool, but familiar object. I quickly bring my left hand over to retrieve the key from the right hand so smoothly that I need not even remove my hand from her skirt pocket. This decision to remove the key with my left hand has been made almost with no conscious ability to question its rationality. As I put the key into the pocket of my trousers, my right hand becomes glaringly aware that beyond the portion of this pocket that held the key, there is no fabric. No pocket facing exists here. The empty space leads directly to the smooth flesh of this mysterious lady. Upon my first contact with the flesh of her upper thigh, or is it her hip, she emits the only sound that I've heard uttered from her. It is a very soft moan that sounds similar to an ah. It is emitted without a blink or flinch from any other part of her body. I freeze. So many questions speed through my mind. At one time, I can't possibly move. The sound of the train wheels against the track seems to have evaporated as the sounds in my head take over my consciousness. My right hand is inside of the false pocket of the elegant silk skirt of a total stranger. It has come to rest on her naked skin. In my left trouser pocket is what I presume to be the key to the roomette that she will occupy for the night. I glance over at her. Now she has closed her eyes and leaned her head back against the seat. Her hands have come to rest on top of mine with the silk of her skirt separating them. She is neither encouraging nor resisting. She isn't giving further instructions about what I should do next. This lady has made her innermost desires very clear in the gentlest but most forward of ways. What else does she have for me to discover? I freeze. So many questions speed through my mind. At one time, I can't possibly move. No man alive with his hand where mine is right at this moment would resist the desire to continue on. My mind imagines the soft, moist hair of her pussy before my hand even becomes oriented well enough under her skirt to determine which direction to go to locate it. However, as I move in the direction of that most desired place between her thighs, I become disoriented, almost confused. Never in my life have I encountered a woman whose pubic area is as completely smooth as the skin of her flat, thin abdomen above. It is unbelievable. My desire for her becomes so overwhelming I can no longer think outside of this moment. I look directly at her face as I make this discovery of her shaved pussy, and I realize that she is taking complete and total delight in my amazement of her secret. Nothing about her reaction indicates any apology for her delight in my response. People continue to move throughout the train car. I'm trying to look as inconspicuous as humanly possible. Who cares that I have my hand on the shaved pussy of a complete stranger with whom I have not spoken one single word? Who cares that my wife is a train car's length away sleeping, I hope? Who cares that my entire life could change for this one moment in my life, where a woman's action, scent, and simple gaze in my direction has left my body with feelings I've never experienced before? The excitement, arousal, and even the danger of it all combine to put my mind and my body in separate places from this point forward. I become more daring now. As my fingers begin to caress her warm, moist pussy, I notice that my cock is beyond any stage of arousal that it has ever experienced before. Pre-cum has already moistened my boxer shorts and the inside lining of my trousers. I want to be touched by her. The desire to fondle and caress this woman in more than just the gentlest, most discreet ways is almost overpowering. But I know that I can't do these things. Not here anyway. No one around me can know exactly what is happening. Neither of us has even shifted closer to each other. To the view of anyone bothering to pay attention, my right arm could easily be behind her skirt or inside of it. Why hasn't she touched me again? What is she waiting for? Is she expecting me to make the first move toward her roomette? Is that even what the key was for? The pleasure of her skin and the moistness of her pussy under her skirt quickly erase these questions from my mind. I become a bit more attentive to the private areas within my reach beneath her skirt now. My fingers explore the outside lips of her pussy and work their way slowly toward even deeper and, I discover, moister ones. She is as drenched with desire as I am. Never before have I known that a woman could be so completely slippery and wet. This woman is incredible. She is completely aroused not only from the physical act of being touched, but from the excitement and the danger of what is happening right now. The physical reaction of her body to her state of arousal rivals that of mine as my cock has hardened and remained so during this entire encounter. Every part of her body is responding to my touch, and it is doing so in a way that is completely imperceptible to anyone but the two of us. Her hips are moving gently back and forth, but only the slightest bit as I caress her clitoris and moisten it with her own juices. She has otherwise hardly moved from where she was when she sat down, and still she has hardly uttered a sound. Yet I know she is as close to climaxing as a woman can get. Her clitoris has become almost hard. Her juices are flowing more heavily than before. I long to taste them. The lips of her pussy are swollen from their earlier size. She is breathing more heavily now. Yet she is still completely in control of herself and of me. There is nothing but awe in her ability to control and enjoy herself at the same time. The male body, as I am well aware at this moment, is hardly as cooperative with its mind at such times. A strange thing suddenly happens to me. A feeling of guilt washes through me. Why is she doing this? Who is she? What will happen to my life if I allow her to climax right here in the passenger car of this high-speed train that is rushing my wife and me back toward the life I have come to know and appreciate? My hand stops and rests flat against the place where her bush should be. She doesn't move a muscle. Or does she? I suddenly realize that she is climaxing right here under my palm. Her clit is pulsating and her body is trembling from within. A delicate, satisfied smile is very evident on her face. Nothing in my sexual experience has prepared me for this moment. How can I be distrustful of her for bringing me to the moment where I finally truly understand the pleasure that a woman and a man can have? Sex with my wife hasn't been like this. Guilt gives way to complete understanding that I'm being given an opportunity for pleasure without the complications that could otherwise ensue. The lovely stranger opens her eyes and lifts her head from the place where it has been resting against the seat. She puts her hand firmly against mine with a force that seems to say, "Leave it there and see what happens next." Her clitoris is still pulsating, or is it pulsating again? Are there really multi-orgasmic women in this world? I dutifully leave my hand in place firmly, without moving a muscle. She reaches for her magazine. What is she doing? I continue to try to look inconspicuous. She locates the page she was looking for and tears off just the lower right corner of it. Then, she gently squeezes her thighs together, signaling me to remove my hand from her wet pussy, indicating that she wants me to stop. Slowly and as discreetly as possible, I remove my right hand from her pocket. Casually, I swipe it across my face, licking it discreetly as I do. What next? She's again staring at the bulge in my trousers and waiting for me to regain some composure. The small piece of paper that was torn from the magazine is still held between her fingers. With a deep, relieving breath, I fold my hands in my lap and rest again against the seat, feeling her wetness still coating my fingers. She reaches over and quickly places the small piece of paper into my palm. It happens so smoothly that I almost don't realize that it is her touch that has elevated my already nearly out-of-control state of arousal. The sexy stranger next to me is putting on her gloves and checking her makeup in a gold filigree compact. While she still hasn't spoken a single word to me, her eyes say everything necessary when she glances at me in that way of hers once again. She rises and smooths her clothing. The pleats of her skirt fall perfectly in place, as they were designed to do, with an automatic understanding of the need for discretion. I don't watch her as she leaves and heads back in the direction she came from, what seems like minutes ago. I suppressed my training as I allow the mysterious lady to leave without standing or nodding as she does. The paper she handed me is now grasped in my left hand. It is simple and cryptic at the same time. It is the page number from page 106 of the magazine. I feel for the key inside my left trouser pocket. There isn't a need to look for the room number on it.